Welcome the rare gems. Have you ever met someone who looks at you once and it feels like they already know more than you have told them? That is what it is like with a Sigma female. She does not just hear your words. She studies your pauses, the small shifts in your tone, the way your eyes move when you are unsure, and even the silence that lingers when you are holding something back. To her, those tiny details are louder than anything you could ever say out loud. What makes her different is not that she tries to expose people or play games with them. Her gift is awareness. She notices the energy people carry, the hidden fears behind a smile, or the ambition tucked behind casual words. While most people listen to reply, she listens to understand. That is why pretense does not last long around her. This ability is not meant to intimidate you. If anything, it should remind you of the power of being genuine. Sigma females appreciate honesty, not perfection. They value real connections, not masks. Being around someone like her can challenge you to stop hiding behind layers you do not need. So, if you ever cross paths with a Sigma female, know this. She can see right through you, but that is not something to fear. It is something that can push you to stand taller, to be more honest, and to trust that the most powerful version of you is the one that does not need hiding. Let's get started. The rare gems. Number 1. They notice the tiniest flicker of hesitation in your eyes before you even speak. The human face is like a map, and most people only glance at the surface. A Sigma female reads it like a detailed story. Long before you explain yourself, she can already sense what you're holding back. The smallest flicker in your eyes, the kind most people would never notice, tells her more than your polished words ever could. Think about the last time someone asked how you were doing, and you replied with, "I'm fine." To most people, that would be the end of the conversation, but a Sigma female would notice how your eyes darted for just a second, how your tone did not fully match your words, and how your body hesitated ever so slightly. That brief moment, invisible to many, speaks louder than the answer itself. She understands that people often say what they believe others want to hear, but the truth almost always leaks out in those tiny, unguarded flashes. Maybe you say you are confident, but your eyes reveal doubt. Maybe you insist you are over something, yet your silence tells a different story. She pieces these clues together with incredible accuracy, not because she is trying to catch you, but because she pays attention in a way most people never bother to. This ability is what makes conversations with her feel different. You cannot hide behind easy answers or half-truths. She already senses the reality you are dancing around. And here is the part that makes her presence powerful rather than intimidating. She does not weaponize what she sees. Instead, she often uses it to meet you where you truly are. If she notices you are hurting, she understands without forcing you to explain. If she detects your excitement, she acknowledges it even before you express it fully. In everyday life, this quality can be disarming but also freeing. Imagine talking to someone who actually sees you without judgment, someone who pays attention not just to what you say, but to who you are beneath the surface. That is what it feels like to be seen by a Sigma female. Number 2. Your carefully crafted words feel transparent because they read between every line. Most people believe they can cover up their real thoughts with carefully chosen words. They rehearse their answers, they polish their stories, and they think if they say things the right way, no one will notice what is hiding underneath. But with a Sigma female, it never works that way. She is not just listening to what you are saying. She is reading the gaps, the pauses, and the subtle hints tucked between your sentences. Imagine telling a friend, "I am really happy at my job." To the average listener, that sounds convincing enough, but if you tell that to a Sigma female, she might notice that your voice lacks excitement, or that your choice of words sounds rehearsed rather than natural. She is not focused on the surface. She is tuned into the layers underneath, the ones that reveal whether your words are carrying truth or whether they are simply a shield. Think of it like reading a book. Most people read only the story on the page. A Sigma female is the type who notices the author's intent, the symbolism, and the unspoken emotions between the lines. That is what makes conversations with her feel almost uncanny. Even when you think you are being convincing, she can pick up on the undercurrents you are trying to hide. This does not mean she is waiting to expose you or call you out. Her perception is not about embarrassing people. Instead, it is about clarity. She values authenticity, and because of that, she will often respond to what she senses rather than what is said. If she hears you saying, "I'm fine," but feels the heaviness in your tone, she knows the right way to engage with you is not to accept the answer at face value, but to offer a space where you can be real. In everyday life, this can be both challenging and refreshing. With her, you cannot lean on a script. You cannot survive on polite answers alone. But what you gain is something far more valuable. You are seen, not just heard, and that level of understanding is rare in a world where so many people only listen to reply. Number 3. Emotional walls and masks are meaningless. They detect authenticity instinctively. People spend a lot of time building emotional walls. Some do it to protect themselves from being hurt again. Others do it to keep control, to make sure no one gets too close. Along with those walls come masks. Smiles that hide sadness, confidence that hides fear, politeness that covers frustration. For most people, these defenses work well enough. They can keep their true feelings hidden from almost everyone, but not from a Sigma female. What makes her different is the way she instinctively senses what is real. She does not need a dramatic confession to know someone is struggling. She notices when the laugh is too forced, when the smile lingers too long, or when the posture looks strong but the eyes give away fatigue. Emotional walls and masks may confuse others, but to her they are see-through glass. Imagine a friend showing up to dinner and insisting they are doing great, while pushing their food around the plate without eating. Most people might believe their words. A Sigma female will notice the disconnect immediately. She can tell when behavior and emotion do not match. She understands that what is unsaid is often more important than what is spoken. This instinct is not about calling people out. It is about understanding them on a deeper level. She can sit across from someone who is hiding behind their strongest mask and still recognize the truth behind it. That is why people often feel disarmed in her presence. They realize there is no need to perform or pretend. In everyday life, this quality creates a kind of freedom. If you are with someone who sees through your walls anyway, you might as well be honest. And honesty is what she values most. She does not demand perfection. She simply values realness. That is what makes conversations with her different from the ones you have with anyone else. Number 4. They observe patterns in your behavior that even you don't realize you repeat. One of the most striking things about a Sigma female is her ability to notice patterns in people that they themselves are blind to. Everyone has habits, little loops of behavior that repeat without much thought. You might tell yourself you act differently in every situation, but she notices that you respond to stress the same way each time, that you reach for your phone when uncomfortable, or that you change the subject whenever conversations get too personal. These patterns may seem invisible to you, yet to her, they stand out like footprints in fresh snow. Think about someone who constantly says they want to save money but ends up shopping whenever they feel low. They might not connect their emotions to their spending, but a Sigma female will notice it almost instantly. She will see the link between the mood and the choice, the trigger and the action. It is like she is piecing together a puzzle where the person is holding all the pieces but has never stepped back to see the full picture. This ability is not just about habits. It goes deeper into how you carry yourself. Maybe you always speak louder when you are nervous or interrupt when you feel unheard. Over time, she maps these behaviors and starts to understand not just what you do, but why you do it. That is why people often feel like she knows them better than they know themselves. Her awareness can be uncomfortable because it holds up a mirror. Suddenly, you realize the little things you brushed off are actually patterns shaping your life. But it is also liberating. When someone notices your hidden cycles, they give you a chance to confront them, to change them if you choose to. Being around her can feel like being studied, but not in a cold or judgmental way. It feels like being truly seen. She picks up on the rhythm of your actions and reflects it back with a kind of clarity that makes you pause. That is the gift of her observation. She does not just see what you do. She sees the story your patterns are quietly telling. Number 5. Lies feel heavy around them, and they can almost hear the weight of deception. Lies may sound light when spoken, but to a Sigma female, they carry weight. She can almost feel the air shift when someone bends the truth. It is not magic, and it is not guesswork. It comes from her ability to sense when words and reality do not line up. Most people hear the words and accept them as they are. She hears the hesitation. She notices the unnecessary details, and she feels the strain in the way someone delivers the story. That weight of deception does not slip past her. Imagine someone telling a simple story about being late to work. They could say, "Traffic was bad." But instead they add extra layers, over-explaining, repeating themselves, giving far more information than needed. To most people it might sound convincing. To a Sigma female it feels off. She recognizes that honesty rarely needs a costume. Truth is usually straightforward, while lies often drag themselves along heavy with the effort of being believed. This ability shows up in everyday life. If a friend insists they are fine but their voice cracks just slightly, she hears it. If a coworker exaggerates their role in a project, she picks up on the subtle pride mixed with insecurity. She is not searching for flaws, she is simply tuned into the signals others ignore. What makes her different is not just the detection, but the way she handles it. She does not always call people out because she knows lies often come from fear, insecurity, or the need to protect oneself. Instead, she processes the truth behind the words and adjusts how she deals with the person. It is her way of navigating relationships without being fooled. Being around her can be both unsettling and refreshing. You quickly realize dishonesty weighs more than you thought, and while others might let small lies slide, she reminds you of the power of being truthful. Because with her, honesty will always feel lighter than deception. Number 6. They understand the language of micro-expressions, the unspoken tells of truth. Most people move through conversations only catching the obvious things like words and tone. But a Sigma female notices what slips by everyone else. She understands the subtle language of micro-expressions, those tiny flashes of emotion that cross a face in less than a second. They are so quick you might miss them even if you are paying attention, but she reads them like a headline. Think about when someone insists they are not upset, yet for a split second their eyebrows tighten and their mouth stiffens. The expression disappears almost as soon as it appears, but to her, it is enough. She knows anger or frustration is there no matter how calmly the person tries to speak. Or picture someone saying they are happy for you, but in that blink of an eye their smile falters and their eyes narrow slightly. That small leak of envy tells her the truth you did not want revealed. This is not about trying to expose people or turn every conversation into an interrogation. For her, it is about understanding what lies beneath the surface. She does not just hear what you say, she sees what your face betrays when you least expect it. That awareness allows her to connect with people at a depth most never reach. In everyday life, this skill plays out in powerful ways. She can comfort a friend who says they are fine but whose eyes briefly reveal sadness. She can step back when she notices the flicker of dishonesty in a deal or conversation. She can tell when someone is genuinely excited and when they're just putting on a show. What makes this so remarkable is that it is almost instinctive. While others dismiss these micro-expressions as nothing, she recognizes them as the purest form of honesty. And once you have been in her presence long enough, you realize there is no use in pretending. Your face will always reveal what your words try to hide. Number 7. They don't need confirmation. Intuition is their most trusted guide. Some people need constant proof before they trust what they feel. They want evidence, reassurance, or someone else's approval before making a judgment. A Sigma female does not work that way. Her intuition is her compass, and it rarely steers her wrong. She can sense when something is off long before it becomes obvious, and she does not wait for confirmation to believe what her instincts are already telling her. Think about how most people second-guess themselves in relationships. They notice small red flags but convince themselves they are imagining things. A Sigma female is different. If something feels wrong, she pays attention. If someone's energy does not match their words, she does not brush it aside. Her intuition speaks loudly, and she has learned to trust it without hesitation. This is why she often sees through people long before anyone else does. For example, in a work setting, she might notice a colleague who seems overly friendly but whose motives feel off. Others may not see it until much later, but she already knows to keep her guard up. Or in friendships, she can sense the subtle shift when someone's loyalty begins to fade. She does not wait for betrayal to unfold before she acknowledges the truth her intuition has already confirmed. What makes this so captivating is how much confidence it gives her. She does not need endless debates or outside opinions to know what she feels. That quiet certainty is both powerful and rare. It allows her to move through life with clarity even when others are confused or uncertain. Her trust in intuition does not mean she never uses logic. It means she recognizes that logic and intuition together create a sharper kind of wisdom. And if you have ever ignored your gut and regretted it later, you can understand why her way of moving through the world feels so compelling. She simply listens to the voice most people drown out. Number 8. Your ambitions and insecurities are often clearer to them than they are to you. What you hide from others is often what you hide from yourself. Many people go through life without realizing how strongly their ambitions and insecurities shape their actions. A Sigma female has a way of noticing both, sometimes with more clarity than the person living with them. She can see the fire in your eyes when you talk about a dream, even if you dismiss it as impossible. She can also sense the fear you carry when you avoid certain challenges, even when you convince yourself it is not fear at all. Imagine someone who constantly criticizes others for taking risks. On the surface, it sounds like caution or wisdom. But a Sigma female notices the pattern and understands it for what it really is, an insecurity about their own courage. Or think of a friend who downplays their achievements, saying things like, "It was nothing." She can tell they are secretly proud but uncomfortable owning it. Where others hear only modesty, she recognizes the quiet ambition hiding underneath. This awareness is not meant to expose or embarrass anyone. Instead, it allows her to engage with people at their core. If she sees your ambition, she might push you to pursue it. If she senses your insecurity, she might not call it out directly, but she will adjust how she relates to you, giving you space to face it without judgment. In everyday life, this makes her presence feel strangely motivating. You cannot fool her by pretending you do not care about something when deep down you do. And you cannot hide behind false confidence when she has already noticed the doubts gnawing at you. Her insight is like a mirror reflecting the parts of yourself you would rather keep hidden. It can be uncomfortable to be seen that clearly, but it can also be freeing. Because once someone recognizes the truth about you, there is less need to pretend. And when a Sigma female sees your ambitions and insecurities, she does not look down on you. She sees the full picture of your humanity, and that in itself can push you closer to the person you are meant to become. Number 9. They notice inconsistencies in your actions long before they surface in conversation. Most people focus on words, but a Sigma female pays closer attention to actions. She understands that what people do is often more truthful than what they say. And when those two do not match, she notices it long before the person is even aware of the gap. To her, inconsistencies are like cracks in the surface that reveal what is really going on underneath. Think of someone who always talks about valuing honesty, but constantly avoids tough conversations. To most people, it might not stand out right away, but she sees the contradiction. Or imagine a friend who insists they are over a breakup, but still checks their ex's social media every night. The words say one thing, but the actions tell a completely different story. A Sigma female does not need you to admit it, because she already sees the truth written in your behavior. This awareness does not come from judgment. It comes from paying close attention. While others are distracted by appearances, she observes patterns over time. She notices the little things, like when someone promises to focus on their health, but never makes the effort, or when someone speaks about loyalty, yet constantly seeks attention elsewhere. These small contradictions might be invisible to others, but to her, they stand out like a flashing sign. The power of this perception is that it often reveals a person's reality before they themselves are ready to face it. She can tell when someone's actions are leading them away from their values, or when they are saying things just to keep up an image. It is not about exposing them, it is about seeing the truth for what it is. Being around her can feel unsettling because it challenges you to align what you say with what you actually do. But in the long run, it can also be freeing. Pretending becomes pointless. When your words and your actions finally match, you not only earn her respect, but also step closer to living authentically. And that is something she values above all else. Number 10. They understand human behavior at a level most people never even attempt. A Sigma female has an unusual way of studying people. While most folks only pay attention to what is obvious, she dives deeper into the layers that shape why people do what they do. She does not just watch behavior on the surface. She pays attention to the roots behind it, and that is why her understanding of human behavior feels almost unsettling at times. Take something as simple as someone snapping at a cashier. Most people would brush it off as rudeness. A Sigma female sees beyond the reaction. She notices the tired eyes, the restless tapping foot, and the tension in their shoulders. To her, this is not just a rude moment. It is likely frustration built up from stress at work, personal struggles, or a feeling of being unseen. She knows that behavior is almost never random. There is always a story behind it. She also notices how people handle success, failure, pressure, and even boredom. She might observe that someone always makes jokes when they are uncomfortable, or that another person withdraws when they feel overlooked. Where others see quirks, she sees patterns that reveal emotional needs and hidden fears. It is like she holds a mental notebook of human nature that most people do not even realize exists. What makes this even more powerful is that she does not simply analyze others from a distance. She uses what she notices to connect. If she senses someone is defensive, she knows not to push too hard. If she sees someone is craving recognition, she knows how to affirm them without making it obvious. Her insight is not cold analysis, it is lived empathy, sharpened by observation. This depth of understanding makes it difficult to deceive her, but it also makes her presence feel strangely comforting. People often find themselves opening up without knowing why, as if she already understands what they are trying to say. That is the gift of her perception. She sees not just what you do, but the why behind it, a level of understanding most people never even try to reach. Number 11. They can identify pretense in social settings, spotting who is acting versus who is real. In most social settings, people put on a show. Some exaggerate their confidence, others tone themselves down to fit in, and many wear smiles that do not reflect how they truly feel. Most of the room accepts these performances at face value, but a Sigma female sees straight through them. She can separate the actors from the authentic without breaking a sweat. Picture a gathering where everyone is laughing and chatting. To the average person, it looks like genuine fun, but she notices the subtle differences. She can tell who is laughing naturally and who is forcing it. She can sense the person whose compliments are sincere and the one who is saying nice things just to gain approval. She observes posture, tone, and timing, and she immediately distinguishes real connection from staged behavior. It is not about being cynical. She does not assume the worst of people. Instead, her perception comes from a quiet awareness. For instance, she can spot the friend who brags about success to hide insecurity, or the colleague who plays humble but craves attention. She knows the difference between confidence and performance because authenticity has a different weight. Pretending always carries strain, while being real feels effortless. In everyday life, this makes her someone who values quality over quantity in relationships. She would rather connect deeply with one authentic person than surround herself with 10 who are performing. That is why her circle tends to be small but strong. What makes this skill powerful is how it protects her. While others may get fooled by charm or surface appearances, she is rarely deceived. She does not fall for loud displays of charisma because she already knows who is genuine and who is playing a part. And once you realize she sees through pretense so easily, you understand why people either respect her deeply or feel uneasy around her. Number 12. Even when you try to hide your true self, Sigma females perceive the essence beneath every layer. You can put on as many layers as you want. You can hide behind humor, work, silence, or even confidence that does not fully belong to you. Most people will accept the version you choose to show them, but not a Sigma female. She has a way of looking past every layer you build and seeing the essence of who you really are. It is not about prying or invading your privacy. It is about perception. She notices what lingers when the performance fades. Maybe you joke around all the time, but the sadness in your eyes gives you away. Maybe you act like you are indifferent, but the way your hands tighten when certain topics come up reveals you care more than you admit. She recognizes that underneath the masks, there is always a core that cannot be hidden. Think about how people sometimes act differently depending on the crowd they are in. One version shows up at work, another with family, another with friends. To most people, that makes sense and goes unquestioned. But a Sigma female notices the thread connecting every version. She sees the constant in you, the part of your character that shows even when you try to bury it. That essence is what she connects with, not the temporary masks. What makes this so disarming is the freedom it creates. When you realize someone already sees through your layers, you begin to drop them on your own. You stop pretending and start showing up as yourself. That is why conversations with her often feel raw and real, even if you did not plan for them to. She does not seek to expose or judge the person behind the layers. Instead, she honors the truth she sees. And that is what makes her presence both challenging and liberating. With her, you cannot hide, but you also do not need to. Conclusion. Have you ever wondered what it feels like to be fully seen, not just for the words you say, but for the truth you carry deep inside? That is the experience of being around a Sigma female. She notices the patterns you overlook, the flickers of emotion you try to hide, and the quiet inconsistencies between what you say and what you do. She does not do this to judge you or expose you. She does it because her awareness allows her to connect with the real you, the version you often keep buried. The remarkable part is that this clarity is not something to fear. It is something to embrace. Because when someone can see through the masks and the walls, it frees you from the pressure of pretending. With her, you do not need rehearsed answers or polished stories. You only need to bring your authentic self, and that is more than enough. Life becomes lighter when you stop carrying the weight of appearances. And being in the presence of someone who values truth above performance can inspire you to do the same. Instead of hiding your insecurities, you can face them. Instead of downplaying your ambitions, you can own them. Instead of running from your patterns, you can finally recognize and reshape them. So the next time you find yourself with a Sigma female, see her gift for what it is. She can see right through you, yes, but she also sees the strength, the potential, and the beauty that lies within you. Let that be a reminder that the most powerful version of yourself is not the one hidden behind layers, but the one you have the courage to show. Thank you for watching, and God bless you.